Newstalk to me, it is 11:29. Just organised for Paul Potts to stay on a little longer because I want, and he's very happy to. So I thank you for that. I want to, after your comments on bullying, you've led us down a different road, and I want to stay with it for the minute. My attitude has always been that if a kid is a bully victim, the best thing that a parent can do is to have them trained in some sort of self-defense, martial arts, boxing, something along those lines. Because to me there has never been, unfortunately I've never been in this position, but there's never been a better way of dealing with a bully than fighting back. And usually bullies are cowards in the end. And if you don't have to beat them up, but if you can drop them, one way or the other, then usually they leave you alone. Would you disagree with that?
I think that your defence starts in your head, not with your fists. I think you can, and I don't see anything wrong in defending yourself. But if you're just defending yourself physically, I'm not sure what good it does to your head.
But is it not possible though that if you know you can defend yourself, the kid gets bullied, father gets him taught a bit of stuff, and the kid then gets confidence from being able to do that, may never employ it, but if he does, or even she does, it's as a last resort generally. This is the way I like to think of it anyway, last resort generally, and all of a sudden there's a new respect that's established.
You have to want to defend yourself physically.
Yes.
That's the thing, and if you're not emotionally in that state, then it's not necessarily going to solve the root problem. I think that it's certainly useful to have some training in the way that you can defend yourself if necessary, but I think there needs to be better emotional support. It might be seen by some as being nannying, but I think that sometimes you basically need to talk the issues through, because otherwise they fester, and you start to take things internally. Because that's how I dealt with it. I internalized everything, and then you start blaming yourself, and then you can't defend yourself physically because you don't want to. You have to want to defend yourself physically in order for any kind of self-defense training to actually be useful. You have to get yourself, and I think this is often the case with how martial arts deals with things in the head as well as with the hands and the feet. It's about putting yourself in a position where you feel able to. And I think that there does need to be some form of just simple counselling rather than having to go to a teacher. Because sometimes going to a teacher means that teacher has to take certain action, whether the victim wants it or not. And my position is that for certain issues, when it becomes about certain really serious forms of abuse, then obviously action has to be taken. If an adult is taking advantage of a child sexually, then of course something has to be done. But all abuse is about control. It's not about any form of attraction. It's not about it's not about anything other than control and power. And this is why I feel that the victim should be empowered to make a decision so that they are taking power back, and so they feel that they have some decision, some part to play in their own lives, and so they can take ownership of how the problem is managed. And at the moment, what I see, certainly in the UK, is that there's a lot of political talk about taking action, about zero tolerance, but that involves dealing with the bully, and sometimes the bully has their own issues, and sometimes what that bully needs to stop in bullying is proper support. They may have problems at home, they may have problems elsewhere that's making them behave in that way.
After the break, we'll move on to something a bit more pleasant. I'm dying to talk about Julianne.